I've got our 30 points of Starks. We have a unit of Stark Sworn Swords. We have archers. The Umber champion will be commanding this group here. Big Jon Umber is our leader. He'll be commanding this group over here. Rob will take over with the archers. Grey Wind's along for the ride, and we've got Sansa and Caitlyn coming along as our NCUs. And we have 30 points of Targaryens. We have the Outriders over here. We've got some veterans. We've got 2 units of Screamers. The great Khal himself will be, of course, leading this unit over here of Screamers, and taking Khaleesi along as our NCU. And there you go, 30 points of Targaryens. Okay, so deployment is finished. You can kind of see how the Starks deployed on the one side. They've got the archers behind, the Sworn Swords. Grey Wind's kind of hanging out in the corner there. You've got all your Dothraki out here, 2 on the flanks. You've got the their Outriders out here. You've got your veterans, and you've got your Screamers with Khal in the middle, and some Screamers out there on the flank. NCUs are ready to go. We're playing a modified Clash of Kings board here. We've got 3 objectives here. 1, 2, 3, all worth a point after round 1. And we put out 4 murder piles here, corpse piles, to make this sort of fun and interesting. And the only modification here is that I'm not playing with the objective cards for this scenario. It's too much to keep track of. We will have points being scored in round 2 and beyond from your 3 objectives. Also, if you kill a unit, death by combat a point. If your unit kills a unit with a commander in it, that's an additional point. And if your commander's unit kills the opposing commander's unit, an additional victory point. So there you go. That is our deployment. So Targaryens have won the first activation, the first round. So we've got Swift Reposition, we've got Lead by Example, and Ad Rivate, whatever that, I can't pronounce that word. So we'll get into the cards later. That's what they've got. So Targaryens have gone first. They've elected to put Khaleesi on the maneuver space on the tactics board, and they maneuvered up their Outriders 6 inches, and that's where they are right now. Okay, round 1, turn 1 for the Starks. Here's the cards they have this turn. They've got Winter is Coming, they've got Winter's Might, and Northern Ferocity. I won't go through all the wording on the cards, but you guys can stop the camera and take a look at them. And let's go see what they do. Starks have followed up. They're putting Sansa on the letters. They're going to draw 2 tactics cards. Here's what they got. The North Remembers, and they have Last Stand. Also putting a condition token on one of the Targaryens. They're probably going to pick, I'm thinking, Weaken. And they're going to put that on the great Khal himself. Put it over there. For him, he's been weakened. And that's the Stark's turn. Targaryen's back again. So Khal Drogo, despite being weakened from the Stark's last turn, so I really don't care. He gets his free maneuver action for cavalry. He'll just go up 6. And then he's going to do a march action because he doesn't really care, which means 12. So he's going up as far as he can. And he is just daring Big Jon to come get him. And there they are. And it's his activation. And back to the Starks. We have Big Jon saying, well, come get you some, big boy. He goes ahead and does just he'll do a march action. Actually putting him pretty close. So it's 5 movement. He can go up to 10. He's going to go right about there. And he is just begging him, come on, come get me, big boy. And that is the Stark's activation. They did a march. They're done. Also, Big Jon's unit has the North Remembers card attached to him, which I just didn't put on at the start of the turn because I didn't want to move the tray and not get things cluttered up on the board. That's what that is. So it is Targaryen time. They're going to play Swift Reposition, which allows them to do target 1 friendly combat unit, shifts 2 inches if you control the ponies. Then that unit performs a 3-inch maneuver instead, which we do control. She grabbed that. So with this Swift Reposition and the free maneuver, and then of course a march action afterwards, it puts our Dothraki Screamers all the way up here, right up on the back door here of the Stark lines. Stark's activation. They've elected to move up. We're going to go a march action with our Umber champion Stark Swords. And we're just going to finish right up here within 1 inch of Khal Drogo. And that's their activations. Put that activation token out there and we're good. All right, time to get our Outriders in position. So we're gonna get a free maneuver with them. Let's go measure that out. We get a free maneuver for cavalry. It's gonna be 6 inches up. And then they are going to do a march action for another 12 inches and just basically go straight up the board here. Sorry, my camera's a little shaky here in one hand. Back up, and they're gonna go right there. And of course, they're gonna pivot. And that's their turn. Grey Wind will activate, so let's do a maneuver with him. He gets a free maneuver, so 6. Go here. He can pivot again if he wants to. And then he can actually charge this unit on the side because he's within striking distance and he's in most of their side arcs, so he will do a charge action. So Grey Wind did charge the Screamers effectively. He got in there, he scored 3 hits. The Targaryens defended at 5, not so well. The Sundering wouldn't matter. They suffered 3 wounds, so they're going to lose one of their back guys. Bye-bye. And that was the attack. Now time for the panic test. So good news for the Dothraki. They did pass their panic test. They rolled an 8. Even with the -1 from the corpse pile, they still passed it. They're good. And Grey Wind's activation ends and pretty successful. Boom, right there. So Targaryens will activate their veterans. They're going to do a maneuver, then a march to get up closer up to there. So let's go do that right now. So the veterans finish their march action, their maneuver, putting them all the way up here, almost to about 2 inches away from Big Jon's unit. And of course, they'll get an activation. Okay, so Catelyn Stark's going to go grab the crown and force a panic check on this group right here. So Targaryens did pass their panic test. They rolled, I think, a 7. Even with the -1 from the crown, the -1 from the corpse pile, still they're at a 6, and they have a 5 for their morale, so they're good. Last unit for the round. So we've got Rob's going. He's probably doing a maneuver action, I think, and put in position to kind of deal with this over here. So let's do that right now. So Rob's unit of archers has activated. They did a maneuver, moving them up a little closer. Hopefully they're going to take a shot at these guys next turn. And that is the status of our board. And you can kind of see how things are shaping up here. And kind of move around here a little bit so you can see it. So as usual, the Targaryens have done their thing where they've kind of rushed the field, forced the Starks to kind of stick together there. And we'll kind of see how it works out for them. End of round 1. Okay, start of round 2. Board's been cleaned up. Starks have the activation this round, and they've got some options here. They could jump on here on the tactics board and get a free attack with Grey Wind here on their flank. They could go activate here and get a charge. Activate here, get a charge. They could also, from this tactics board, get a free attack on these guys here from Rob's archers. So they're all valid moves, and a few others I'm sure. We could even go here to the money bag to deny Khaleesi from restoring wounds on this unit here. So, but I do think their best thing is to really prevent Khal Drogo from charging, because he's really set up for that. So I think it's best if the Big Jon himself gets in there first and does that. That's going to be our move. So we did activate Big Jon Umber. We're also playing down Winter's Coming on this to help with the charge. He's been successful, and we'll take care of his attack dice in a second. We couldn't charge Khal Drogo because just the way the trays are, he wouldn't have been able to line up right here on this side. Just not enough room for him. So we had to go over here and take these guys out. We had to march through this, so we had to roll 2 dice, but it's okay. We played Winter's Coming, so we're good there. And let's see what happens. So the attack went very well for the Starks. They got remember the Sworn Swords have crits, so 2 hits, 2 hits, 2 hits, and 1 hit. That's going to be 7 hits. They blocked 2 of them, so they had 5 hits go through. They lost a model and 2 wounds on this back rider here. Now you roll for the panic test. So things have gone from bad to worse for this unit. They did fail their panic test. They rolled a 3, and of course -1 from the corpse pile. They had no chance to get it. It's going to be 3 more wounds. So there's 1, and then 2, 3. So we're going to put 2 wounds on this guy over here. And that was, oh boy, that was a devastating attack. They do have these guys do have ability, the veterans can have a retreat order after a melee attack. Problem is, winter's coming kind of prevents that, so they're kind of stuck there. So a very big move for the Starks. So Targaryen's about to activate. They got some real considerations here. Now, they could activate here, and if they forego their cavalry maneuver at the start of their activation, that makes their range attack long range, and they could, of course, take a shot at them. But then, of course, these guys are attached to them, so they're going to do a panic test. As you can see, last time they didn't do so with their panic test, so that's probably not going to happen. We want to get the Khal to charge over here, which we certainly could do. And then, of course, we've got Grey Wind over here on our screamers, kind of nipping away at them, and that's got to be dealt with. So if we charge Drogo, that means they'll probably get a free attack over here. But yeah, so I think the best thing to do here is we're going to use the assault orders, which basically says that when we claim a zone, we can replace that effect with a free attack action. If it's called Drogo's unit that you're targeting, he has a charge instead, which we get basically a free charge over here for him. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that right now. So Khaleesi did take the swords. We activated the assault orders, which gave Khal Drogo, instead of a free melee attack, he got a free charge action. He did. He was successful. He's connected. Now we're going to go ahead and resolve the attack. Starks did pass their panic test, so they're good. No further wounds. Okay, so on that last attack, really, the Stark should have expended that weakened token that Khal had on him, but they kind of forgot about it, but these things happen. It's their activation. You got some options here, but I think they're going to go ahead and activate Grey Wind because have him get a few chip away at these guys a little bit before they eventually kill him. So we'll do that right now. So good news for the Starks, really bad news for the Targaryens. Grey Wind he scored 4 hits on that last roll. The Targaryens only managed to block 1. With Sundering, he does get Sundering Grey Wind, which is a -1 to the defensive rolls. It didn't really matter. They rolled a 6 to 5. They still passed. So 3 hits go through, 3 wounds, and Grey Wind has picked off another one of these guys. Wow, that was a huge minute. That was a huge play. Okay, so panic test time. Wow, Snake Eyes. That's an instant fail. 3 more wounds come off on the panic test. Wow, this is ridiculous. Grey Wind has by himself just decimated this unit of Screamers. I did not see this coming at all. So there you go. That's you leave Grey Wind around too long, he gets in your, oh boy, not good for them. So Targaryen Activation. I forgot to tell you last round we did put this card activated on Khal Drogo's turn. He put the card over here on these guys, but we're not going to activate them or those. We're going to get out of this jam over here. We put ourselves and we're going to do a retreat action with our Screamers over here. So we finished up our retreat action. It's all we could do. Puts him right here, and he is activated. So as crazy as things are, I thought that retreat action took that last Screamer out of range of Robb's archers, but that is not quite the case, because if you look at this thing and measure it, if Robb does a 2-inch shift before he attacks, and archery units can do that, he's in range. So he's going to activate and take a shot. Okay, so Robb's unit did do their shift before their attack, which did put them in range. And they scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. He blocked 1, so he is dead by combat, and Stark's up 1 point. So back to Targaryen Activation. This is not looking good for them at all. They probably should do an attack of some sort. They're probably going to do, I'm guessing, a range attack over here, but and hope these guys just pass their panic test. So the Targaryen, the Outriders, they had a great roll. They scored 7 hits. Unfortunately, these Starks, they blocked 5 of them, so only 2 hits actually go through on this attack. So because that was a range attack into, they were both already engaged in melee, forced Targaryens to take a panic test on this unit here, and they scored a 5. Of course, -2 for the corpse piles would be a roll of 3, but luckily this card had been played before, and it gives them +2 to panic tests. So their morale was a 5. They just passed by the skin of their teeth. So this thing is Stark's turn now. They haven't even activated their NCUs yet. They could do that. They've only got 1 unit left to activate out here. So I think they're going to go ahead and do some things on the tactic board over here. So Sansa has taken the money bag, and she's going to go ahead and restore 3 wounds. And a condition removed, but no conditions are out there. So she will restore 3 wounds over here. 1, 2, and 3. And that is her Stark activation. Okay, so Targaryen activation, I'm thinking, well, we could do an attack here, or we could retreat. I'm thinking we probably should retreat because they will get the next, they'll get the first player token next round, so they probably should do that. So the veterans did retreat back to here. They were still within range of doing a range attack. They have an order on the veterans that when you do a retreat action, you can do a ranged attack at the end of that retreat action. They did. They scored 2 hits. Luckily, the Starks didn't block them, so that's 2 hits on the Big John's unit. So Catelyn takes the maneuvering on the tactics board, and she decided to maneuver Robb. She did a 6-inch maneuver over here, and he gets +1 to his movement. So places him right here, and he's in range of these guys over there. So we're back to our last activation for round 2, and it's going to be over here. The Stark Sword and Swords are going to play Winter's Might, which basically gives them Sundering on this next melee attack. And, oh, by the way, Big John's unit did pass their panic test from before, but let's get on with this attack over here. So the Stark Sworn Sword, the Umber champion, they did score just 2 hits, and of course the Targaryens weren't able to block them, so it's only 2 hits that went through this time. Not too bad on this, but the order for Umber champion will trigger. That gives them Vicious on the panic test coming up. Okay, so panic test time for the Great Khal. They rolled a 7, which normally is enough. However, they are suffering -1 to the panic from this pile, and I believe they're going to get a -1 from this one. They are. That's 2 -1s. So actually their roll now is only a 5. Now Khal does give them a +1 on for him being there. That gives him 6, but this had Vicious, which takes away 2. So they have failed their panic test. Right, yeah, it's 7. So -2 for the corpse piles brings it up to 5. Caldera brings it to 6, but then -2 for Sundering brings it down to 4. Their morale was a 5, so it's, yeah. So this would have been 2 more wounds to the panic test, but Caldera does have an ability where it's -1 wound from panic checks. Actually only 1 wound, so enough to take off this model back here on his unit. So we are moving to the end of the round. I did forget to attach Caitlyn's card to a unit, which probably would have affected something out here, maybe a little bit, but probably not, because they attack it. I think her card is that the unit can attack at its highest value, and at the time I don't think it affected anybody. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So there you go. Look at the board right now. It's just not looking that great for the Targaryens. They're not I wouldn't say they're out of it yet, but yeah, it's not looking too good for them. So as far as scoring goes, nobody has control of an objective right now. The Starks have already gotten their point for killing off that one unit, and that's it for round 2. Okay, so we're at round 3 now. The Targaryens have first activation, and there's a lot of possibilities out there. I don't like leaving Khal Drogo engaged with this unit, but my thinking is that we've got to get wounds restored on some of these units, and if we don't do it now, we might not get a chance to do it later because we only have 1 NCU. So we're going to go ahead over here, and we're going to put her on the money bags, and she's going to go ahead and restore wounds and all that good stuff. So Khaleesi has taken the money bags, restored the wounds, and we're going to play Swift Reposition, which was, we played that at the start of the turn anyways, but I did a little bit out of order. We can do a shift, and we're going to do that right now. So Catelyn goes on the swords, which gives a free melee attack to this group over here. She will attach her card to them as well. And our Umber champion will also use his order for Berserk Rage or something, which adds Vicious to the panic roll. So there you go. Let's go ahead and do the attack. So the Starks suffered their first major snafu of the game. Rolling the attack dice, 4+. They only got 2 hits, but one of those was a critical, so I have to re-roll 1 for the Targaryens. I forgot that. Okay, so 1 hit did get through on the Targaryens. So we'll take a wound over here, which means they will be doing a panic test. So the Targaryens passed their panic check. They rolled a 7. Now it's -2 for Vicious and -1 for that corpse pile. It's -3. But Khal Drogo does give them +1. So when you add it all up, they finished with 5, which is their morale. They passed their panic check. Well, looking at the field, I think we could launch another volley over here. But I just think we better retreat these guys. We're going to do that right now. So the retreat was successful. They moved back to here and on to the Stark's turn. So kind of looking at things the way that they are, I'm thinking let's go ahead and take Sansa and we're going to put her on the maneuvering spot, and let's get Rob's unit maneuvered for free. So Rob's unit has basically moved from here to there, free maneuver action, and they're getting ready to eye up some Targaryens. Okay, back to Targaryens. So, we should have played the field control card when Sansa, when she activated, we should have played this card to negate that, which would have taken away Rob's free maneuver. And a unit out there would have been weakened, I believe. Forgot to play it, so that's how it goes. So back to Targaryens. So we are going to activate our Outriders here. They're going to forego their cavalry maneuver action at the start of their activation, and instead that makes their archery long range and +1 to hit on Jon Umber's unit. Okay, so the attack on Jon Umber's Stark swords, they did score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits because they get +1 to hit. Since they did not do their maneuver at the start of their turn, so they got a total of 5 hits, and over here we've got a total of 3 blocks. So 2 models are coming off, and that wasn't too bad for them. And now the panic check. Well, bad news for the Starks. They did fail their panic check, and they suffer 2 more wounds. Take this guy here. We'll take this guy here and move our painted ones up. Oh, ouch. So Rob's archers have activated. They've taken a shot here. They scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Khal Drogo's guys over here blocked none of them. That's 5 wounds. That's going to be 2 more plus 3 more. And those guys are off now. Oh boy, that's not good. Well, good news for the Targaryens. Khal Drogo did pass his panic test. Targaryen Activation, so we're going to be activating these guys here. But before we do, I think we're going to get rid of this card. At the start of the friendly turn, draw one tactics card. So let's do that. We'll draw a tactics card. And we got lead by example. So let's see if this makes any difference. So Targaryen veterans, they went ahead and charged at the field. Charge was successful, so we're going to do the attack. So the attack scored 7 hits, and the Umbers did block 4 of them, so only 3 hits actually go through. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3, and now it is definitely panic check time. So the Starks are definitely clinging on, man. Big Jon did pass his panic check, just hanging on, man, by a thread. So with the Targaryens out of activations, Grey Wind just went ahead and did a quick maneuver from here, and he got himself up there, and that's his activation. So the Starks have 2 units left to activate. I think Big Jon is just going to sit for now because they've already activated. I think they're just going to go ahead and try and charge the Great Khal himself and just go for it. Here we go. So the charge was successful, and they did play this card, Devastating Impact, which means that you successfully charge them. They are now panicked and vulnerable. So Khal is in big trouble. Well, this attack was devastating. So this is what they rolled. And of course, the Stark Fury kicks in. They got crits, man. It's 1, 2, 3. It's 6, 7 hits. Khal Drogo did block 3 of them before get through. And there you go. He's dead. So that's going to be 2 points for the Starks. So the Sworn Swords have surged forth doing their maneuver action, and it almost put them on top of that objective. They're just a hair off. So they can't score it this round, but they're probably not going to need to. So the last activation of this entire round was Big Jon Umber himself, and he just went ahead and did a retreat action back to here. So that's his activation. So state of the board after round 3, things just don't look good for the Targaryens, but they're not out of it yet. But they are behind in points, 3 points to Starks and absolutely none for the Targaryens right now. Let's just see how things shake out. Okay, so start of round 4, and as you can see, the Stark commander, Jon Umber, is in some serious trouble here. He is about to get mowed down by these Targaryens. Now, we do have Sworn Swords up here that could definitely charge this unit here and tie them up. But then, of course, Targaryens would activate, and they would just simply, they're in range to fire at him, and they're probably going to kill him. These guys are out of range completely. There's nothing they can really do to help his situation over here. So either we're going to probably retreat Jon Umber or put one of our NCUs on the money bags and restore the wounds and take our chances. I think that's what we're going to do. I think you're always better off going to restore wounds. So we're going to do that right now. So Sansa's going to jump over there, restore the wounds. But unfortunately for the Starks, the Targaryens are now going to play field control. So what's going to happen here, they don't get, so Jon's unit's not going to get healed. Instead, what's going to happen is becomes weakened. So the Starks have to choose one of their own to get weakened, and they may shift 3 inches. Well, the results of the counter move there by the Targaryens had kind of mixed results. They were successful in denying any healing to Big Jon's unit, but that card did allow, he got weakened by the Starks, chose him to get weakened, and it allowed a 3-inch shift, which took him out of range of those archers. So the only ones that can get to him right now are right there. So Targaryens are activating, and since Khal Drogo is dead, this card means nothing to us. We're just going to activate this at the start of a friendly turn, draw 1 tactics card. So we're going to put this over there. We're going to get another one. Let's see what we got. Oh, goody, another one we can't use. So that's done. So we've got some choices here, but I think it's better to just charge with our group now. Let's go ahead and do it. Well, it's not over quite yet because they had Last Stand being played, so he was destroyed. And if it's a House Umber unit, which it was because Jon was in it, they get to make an attack action at their highest ranks. So with the Surge, they get one free maneuver action, and there they are, positioned. Well, all things considered, the Starks are going to do something here. They can't do much with these guys over here right now, so they do have their Stark Sworn Swords, who could charge because line of sight does enter right here. They'll charge. So the charge was successful. They rolled with their reroll. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits because they had criticals. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Targaryens rolled, and they blocked 3 of them. Took 3 hits. So unfortunately, it'd be 1 hit over here and 2 more over here. So they just made it. But that's going to be a panic check. We're not done just yet because the Dothraki veterans do have 2 orders. So whenever they're attacked by melee, they can place an order token down to do a free retreat action, which they're going to do. And they can move 6. So let's see, -1 for the for being in the corpse pile. They can go back 5. To right there. And that was their cheat action. Now, they have a second order they can do, which means when they retreat, they can go ahead and do a range attack. They'll do that right now. The Dothraki veterans whiffed on their counterattack. That's what they rolled. So nothing happened. So we're done with that. So Targaryens activate. Khaleesi takes the free attack action. And we're going to use that for these guys to make a range attack on those guys. And they just have enough. I measured it. They just have enough room. Targaryens rolled very well. They scored 1, 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits on them. That 3 is a +1 because they did not take their maneuver action at the start of their turn. And over here, the Starks blocked 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, so only 2 hits got through. So we'll take the 2 hits off. And they do their panic test. Starks did fail their panic test. It's a -1 for the corpse pile, so they actually only rolled a 5, not good enough. They suffered an additional wound. We took that off already, and that's where we stand. So after thinking about things a little bit, I was thinking about having Catelyn Stark jump on the maneuvering tactics spot to move Robb in position, but I'm thinking she could go to the crown and try to force a panic test on this unit here. It's near the corpse pile. It's already got 2 wounds on it. Yeah, I mean, that might be the better way to go. But I think we're going to be conservative here. We might not get that, as interesting as it is. I think we are going to go ahead and put her on the horses, and we're going to get Robb to do his free maneuver action. So Robb is now repositioned and trying to get in range. I think he's got it. It's 12 inches. Yeah, he does. So he can probably take a shot at him on his next activation, wipe him out. Odds are just better that way. So the Outriders for the Targaryens are going to activate. They have just enough range because they're going to forego their cavalry maneuver at the start of their turn, and they're going to go ahead and shoot instead, which gives them long, which I already measured it, and they get, I think it's +1 to hit. I'll double check that. The attack went very well. The Targaryens scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. They scored, the Starks only blocked 1 of them, so 4 hits actually go through. That's not really good news. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it comes time for the panic check. Starks just passed their panic test. They rolled a 7 with -1 with the corpse pile, so 6. That's what they needed, so they just hung on. Stark Activation, gonna move Grey Wind up. Just go his 6 and sit on this objective. He should have enough movement to get there. Oh yeah, he's got it. He moves up, he pivots. He's done. So the Starks will activate again. The Targaryens have nothing left to activate. They have just Rob's unit. Let's check for range and see if they've got it. I think they do. We'll double check to make sure it's 12. Oh yeah, he's definitely got it. So he'll be making attack action on these poor guys right here. So Rob's archers did manage to take out this last unit. They did get enough hits, 3 hits. He blocked one of them. So he is done. Off the board. That brings us to the end of round 4, and so the Starks picked up another victory point for killing that last unit. Plus, Grey Wind is on an objective right now, giving them an additional point. And I think this game's pretty much over at this point. So the Starks have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Targaryens 2. Yeah, this thing's. I'm probably going to call it here. We'll go one more round, see what happens. Start of round 5, Khaleesi's going to take the, I'm sorry, not that one, the free attack. She's going to do that one and attach her card to those jabronis over there. And that means they get to reroll their attack dice. And of course, they're taking a range attack on, you guessed it. Let's see how it goes. Well, the attack went very well. They scored a total of 1, 2, 3, 6 hits. The Starks managed to block, I think, 3 of them, but unfortunately 3 went through, which was enough to kill this unit. Alright, it's time for young Rob to activate his archers, and we're going to play Swift Reposition with this one, which allows them to do a free 2-inch shift. So we're going to do that just right now. So with the free 2-inch actual shift over here, we're going to put Caitlin, or not Sansa, but Kat's going to go on the maneuver and give Rob a free maneuver. So Bobby's bowmen went ahead and completed their free maneuver action, puts them right there, and that's the turn. So Targaryens just activated their Outriders. They got their free maneuver as the start of their cavalry, and now they have to decide what they're going to do here. And I think they're going to try and make a charge at Rob's bowman down there. It's a long march, a long way to Tipperary, but they've got to... What choice do they have? They're down on points. Let's see if they get it. As you can see, the Pickett's charge failed. It was a failed charge. They rolled, I think, got 9. They needed like I think 11 to get there. They were close. It was a long shot. They had to roll like a 5 or a 6 to get it, but they didn't get it. So they'll take their panic test. Well, they did fail their panic test and took another wound for that, so that's where they end their activation. So the Stark bowmen attack. They score 5 hits. Targaryens block 2 of them, so 3 come in, and that means it's going to kill off 1, 2 to kill this one off, and then a wound will go on this guy over here. So that's how that kind of ends. Time for panic check. So good news for the Targaryens, they did pass their panic check, so that's something at least, right? I don't think we're going to activate Grey Wind because it's Stark's turn again. They could activate Sansa, but I just don't know what else to do. We'll leave Grey Wind where he is. He'll just activate and stay on the objective. The Starks are going to try to run the clock out. And the last NC to activate for the Starks this round will be Sansa herself. And we're just going to put her... we'll take 2 tactics cards. See what we get. So we got Winter is coming, and they got Devastating Impact. I don't think it really helps them that much. So both cards go over there, and of course I think she gets to place a condition on these guys. And I think it's going to be weakened because they don't defend well as it is. And here we go, weakened. And that's Sansa's activation. That is the end of round 5, and pretty much everything's wiped off the board. You've got Grey Wind, Rob's bowman, and you've got these Outriders over here, and that is it. And it's really close, but I think the Starks probably to win this one. They got 5 points already. Grey Wind's about to score their other point at the end of the round. I don't know. I might go to round 6 and see how this thing finishes.
So yeah, we are going to call this game. There just simply is no way for the Targaryens to come back in this thing. As I said, Grey Wind's going to score that point for them. It'll be 7. The Targaryens would have to wipe out the archers, and then even if they did that, that would be a point plus a point on the objective. It wouldn't be enough. So Stark's going to take this one. So Big Jon Umber, though he died in the battlefield in a grappling match with Khal Drogo, was enough. Rob's archers finished him off. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.